Erev Tov, everyone. Erev Tov. Who's with us? I see Hilton with us. Hilton. Frank with us. Erev Tov, Frank. How are you, Frank?
Erev Tov, Rabbi. Baruch Hashem. Well.
Good.
Baruch Hashem.
Good. Oh, Dr. Liz. Erev Tov.
Shalom,
Dr.
Rav.
Liz.
How are you?
How are you, Dr.
Baruch
Liz?
Hashem. How are you, Rav? Baruch Hashem.
Can be better. The news is not so good news.
I know.
It's difficult.
Very
Dr.
difficult.
Liz, please give us the update. Please keep us updated.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with the very sad news that I heard early this morning that 2 Yidden were killed outside Eli. Eli's it's a yishuv from yishuv, and it was at the gas station. One is a teenager and the other one's in the 60s, but they were killed. And the person that killed the 2 Yidden was a Palestinian Authority police officer. So, and his name is Muhammad Mansara, Yamach Shemo. Unbelievable. Also, some very, very difficult to understand, but Lord Austin, who's the Secretary of Defense in Congress, said the number out of the 30,000 that the Palestinian Hamas figures have given, he said 25,000 are women and children, which is either he's got his figures totally wrong, because that means that only 5,000 are men that, besides from the 25,000 women and children. So out of those 5,000 men, how many are terrorists? So it's very worrying from his statistics, because, we've been, up until today, the figures, it's coming from Hamas and they inflate their figures. Why would you believe their figures from their Ministry of Health? But that means that less than 5,000, because some were innocent, most probably innocent men that weren't part of Hamas, maybe only 1 or 2 or 3,000 are terrorists, Hamas members. So it's very, very, this is breaking news, and I think he's got his figures totally wrong, but it's coming from the minister, the defense secretary of the United States at the Pentagon. So it's very worrying what he said. But they had this, I don't know if I'm sure it's been widely spread, a convoy of food. There was a stampede, and the Israeli soldiers that were like helping with this, where they were targeted. So they did open up on fire. So they say a few people, unfortunately, there were fatalities. But the Hamas have said that the Israeli, army have killed over 100, but most of those, unfortunately, they were killed were in the stampede. So we just see the 2 different narratives being played out, and we always have to, we'll wait for the findings. And a lot of the world media, like BBC, which now people in Parliament in England have said is totally biased and totally anti-Semitic, will take the one narrative, the anti-Israeli narrative. You won't see on the news what happened at UC Berkeley, California, where Ran Bar Yoshafat was giving a talk, but it had to be cancelled because there was violent pro-Palestinian, anti-Jewish demonstrations. Even the Chancellor of Berkeley apologized, but it's become very dangerous for Jewish students in the States, in England, in Europe. And but I want to give some good news, because it's so depressing that one can be, going to into total depression. The good news is that Prince William, he actually attended the Marble Arch Synagogue, and he met with survivors and with Jewish activists that are trying to perpetrate, keep the Shoah and standing up for Israel. And he met with a Holocaust survivor, Rini Salt. They had her on television with him, and I've met with Rini in her home. She was in Auschwitz, an incredible lady. And Prince William told the youngsters there that anti-Semitism has no place in England, and he'll do whatever he can to prevent the spread of anti-Semitism. So that's actually some very good news. And the most astounding news, Rav, and I don't know if it was, it's not yet April full, but they said that Pandor said in Parliament that Hamas needs to be investigated for war crimes. So I don't know if she meant it. I don't know if she was drinking too much before she made that statement, because she actually phoned Hania like days after the terrible massacre to congratulate, and she invited Hamas to Joburg, and she met with Hamas, and she met with in Iran straight after the massacre, and they say that it's costing up to 2 billion when they took Israel to the Court of Justice in The Hague. And now for her to come out to say that Hamas needs to be investigated for war crimes, it's just it's surreal. It's unbelievable. So I think you guys know more than I do about that, but it has been reported here.
Maybe they decide that they're not going to pay the bill.
But you know, Rabbi, I'll just tell you something.
Rolf, hang on 1 minute. Just hang on.
Damage.
The bill has been paid. The bill has been paid.
No, I'm just joking.
Just joking. It's been paid.
Yeah.
Maybe she never get the extra money that they promised her. That's why she said to investigate. I'm trying to say
that
Rabbi, whenever you give them money, they follow according to the wind. You know, they're like the wind. The wind go to the left, they'll go to the left. That means if they get paid, they'll say. If they not get paid, they're not going to get saved.
Wow, that's amazing.
100%. Yeah.
Okay, and I want to just end off with a very positive, that there are many hotels here in Yerushalayim that are housing, because there have been a lot of rocket attacks in the north, unfortunately. Kiryat Shmona was hit. It's very, the news coming from the north and from the south is very difficult. And there are many residents from the north are being held in hotels, and people have been incredible. The chesed is just unbelievable. Hotels themselves, the owners of the hotels, are helping, and private citizens are helping. So any spare money that people have, it's such a good cause. People have lost their jobs; they are desperate. So here, people are helping them out. It's just amazing to see this chesed. And not only will we survive, but Am Yisrael will thrive. That must be our motto. We will survive and we will thrive.
Baruch Hashem, we'll see great miracle. Chodesh Adar, the Gemara in Masechet Ta'anit, page 22, folio 2, tell us that the month of Adar, we'll speak about it later on today, how great month is it? What the star luck of the Jewish people. That if the Jewish people, Hazal say in the Gemara, if the Jewish people had a court case with a Gentile, to go in the month of Adar to a civil court with a Gentile. Why? Because the star luck of the Jewish people is an upright. Hazal, Gemara, Masechet Ta'anit, 22, 2, page 2. Dr. Lez, Yisher Koach, thank you very much for all the updates. We really appreciate that. Thank you very, very much. It's always interesting to hear your news. Thank you, Dr. Lez. We're going to start the show. Rabotai, Parashat Tisah. Parashat Tisah is one of the saddest parashiyot that we have, the tragedy of the golden calf, but there's also a good thing about it. And Be'ezrat Hashem will try to speak mainly about the good thing. I'm hardly going to speak about the golden calf. I'm going to mention it briefly. Hardly we're going to hear about it. So I would like to start the show. I would like to dedicate the show in the soul of Esther Kaden Bat Ketia, Mordechai Ben Rahma, our friend Moti Bafri, Tamar Bat Zeava, Eitan Ben Keren Avishai Nae, Malka Regina Bat Joya, Yaakov Salomon Ben Farha, וכל נפטרי עמו בית ישראל, בכל מקום שהם. I also would like to dedicate the show in the health of all the soldiers that got injured, all the member of the security, all the member of the forces of Israel, the Jewish people, wherever they are, that got injured, that people that need refuah shlema, we would like to dedicate the show in they speedily recover. And amongst them, Lior Bat Miriam, Menashe Naji Ben Parha, Rav Moshe Ben Bayabati, Rav Moshe Ben Devora, Rav Shlomo Yehuda Ben Dalia, Rav Avraham Ben Marina, Dvora Bat Esther, Sheina Keila Bat Hana, Mordechai David Ben Leah, Yehuda Hillel Ben Shulamit Leah, Chaim Nahum Ben Pesar, Reza Kohen, Baruch Ben Sarah Hiena, אהובה קדן בת טלי, אסתר לאה בת רחל, פסח יצחק בן אלה, איילה עדן בת רבקה, נטלי מלכה בת שרה רבקה טל, יהודה בן אליעזר ומאיר בן יהודה. Please God, רפואה שלמה to them. Also, I would like to dedicate the shiur and the releasing of all the hostages and all of those that behind bar, that they really innocent, and the Jewish people behind bar that in captivity, that please God, that Kadosh Baruch Hu will listen to the shiur, and the merit of the Torah will be to release them from captivity. Be'ezrat Hashem. The Torah start like this. The Parsha start like this. Jeffrey, you ready?
Yeah.
וידבר אדוני אל משה לאמור, כי תישא את ראש בני ישראל לפקודיהם, ונתנו איש כופר נפשו לאדוני, בפקוד אותם, ולא יהיה בהם נגב, בפקוד אותם, בכבוד.
Hashem spoke to Moses, saying, when you take a census of the children of Israel, according to their numbers, every man shall give Hashem an atonement for his soul when counting them, so that there will not be a plague among them when counting.
Okay. What it means not going to be a plague, a mountain? Rashi HaKadosh, Rabbi Shlomo Yitzhaki, born in the city of Troyes, 984 years ago in the north of France. And he explained what does it mean that should not be a plague amongst them. That means on the pshat of the dvarim that Rashi tried to teach us, and we see that Rashi doesn't speak pshat. Rashi speaks pshat to us, like it's look like, but Rashi speaks much more depth. The Torah tells us that when you come to count the sins of the Jewish people, okay, that the Torah tells us that you should not count them regularly, like you count one chair, two chair, three chair. You can't count the person like you count object. Don't count them normally. Say Rashi HaKadosh, you know why? Why not allowed to do that? Because if you count them normally, you can bring ayn hara on them, the evil eye on them, Rashi said. So Rashi said, what you should do. Rashi said that you should give mahatzit shekel, a half a shekel. Be'ezrat Hashem will speak on Shabbos why dafka half a shekel and not a full shekel. What difference does it make? If you give a half a coin or a full coin, what difference does it make? No, the Torah tells us a half. Be'ezrat Hashem on Shabbat, we bring the secret behind the half of the shekel. Okay? So you bring a coin that's called mahatzit shekel, and with that, you count the census of Israel. That means to do a census to the Jewish people, you're not allowed to count them regularly like you count chairs, like you count table, like you count books, or like you count pencils. No, you mustn't allow to count Jewish people like this. What is it count? From here become a very famous question. Quite often, people want to know if there is a minyan to start the davening in a shul. So people start counting 1, 2, 3. The Torah come and tell us here and say Rashi HaKadosh, don't do that. Why? Because by that you count regularly, okay, you can bring the evil eye. What does it mean bringing the evil eye? The Torah tell us a plague. Say Rashi HaKadosh, evil eye. What is the connection? Say like this. Say Rashi HaKadosh, by that you count them regularly, you can actually do the ayn hara on the people, and then the plague gonna come. It means that when we count people, let's say that we have to have on our table 10 people. Okay, we're not allowed to count. We say Mr. X1, Mr. X2. No, don't say that. Prepare the chair, count the chair. Don't count the people that are going to sit on the table or people that are going to count. That's mean Chazal tell us that when you count people, you actually doing ayin hara on them, and that will lead to a plague. What does it mean? So ask the Mefarshim, okay, we understand that, but what does that mean? How should I count them then? I want to know if I have 10 people, I want to start a minyan, I want to start to daven. So Chazal say, in that case, take a verse that there is 10 words, and each word, it's a word one person. So take any verse, and you say on it, for example, you want to say 10 people, אשרי יושבי ביתך עוד יעללוך סלע אשרי העם שככה לו. Okay? And then you see, אשרי, you're referring to Chaim Yankel, יושבי ביתך עוד יעללוך, and that's how you go through it. And you see if you have 10 people. And then you work it out, if you really have 10 people, and you don't count them, 1, 2, 3, like regular counting. That's what the explanation that Rashi tried to tell us, that doing anara, and that will lead, Chas v'shalom, to a plague. What it means, a plague? That if you count people regularly, Chas v'shalom, they can die. Because you're doing anara to them. Okay? Another, in a different level, in a different way, I would like to explain that verse. Here's another interpretation that brought by Rabbi Moshe Halevi. Rabbi Moshe Halevi, he born around 306 years ago in Poland. Okay, he wrote a book that's called Or Pnei Moshe, the light of the face of Moshe. And he explained like this, Ki Tisah. What it means, Ki Tisah? When you come to take the censer on the pshat of the Dvarim, Chazal tell us, but Tisah is to uplift. What does it mean to uplift? It means Chazal tell us that the person have to understand that if he want to lift himself spiritually, okay, in Yiddishkeit, in Torah, he have to first of all to understand his disadvantage. If he understand his disadvantage, that's what will help him now to be uplifted, to raise up. Why? Because he know what is disadvantage. If he know what is disadvantage, he also know what his advantage. And by that the person work on his disadvantage and he know what his advantage, he actually can change. That means Chazal come to tell us that if a person want to lift himself or want to speak to his student, to want to speak to his people in home, and to be uplifted in Yiddishkeit, to lift up the Yiddishkeit, to lift up their wisdom in Yiddishkeit, they have to understand what is the disadvantage. To explain to them nicely that the first thing that we have to do is to find our disadvantage, to work on them. Because to know our advantage, once that we know, okay, we have them, but how are we going to work on our disadvantage? Say Rabbi Moshe Levy, he said like this, the first thing that you have to do is to understand where's your disadvantage. On those points you have to work, and that's how you're going to work out. And that's how you can lift up yourself in a different level. Chazal in the Gemara in Masechet Baba Batra, Chazal tell us something very interesting. Chazal interpreted this verse completely different. Chazal in Masechet Baba Batra in page folio 2, Chazal say in the Gemara something very interesting. When Moshe Rabbeinu gone up to heaven to bring the Torah, when he was in heaven, he asked HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Bema tarum mazalam shel Israel. Bema yarum mazalam shel Israel. What does it mean? When is the star luck of the Jewish people on his peak? When is the best time for the Jewish people? Listen what Chazal said that HaKadosh Baruch Hu answered Moshe Rabbeinu. Listen what HaKadosh Baruch Hu answered. Say HaKadosh Baruch Hu to Moshe Rabbeinu, what is the appropriate time that it's going to be the star luck of the Jewish people? He said to him, בכתיסה. What it mean kitisa? Obviously, Parashat Kitisa. What else we have? No. Say Hazal. First of all, let's understand what Moshe Rabbeinu asked HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and then you understand the answer that HaKadosh Baruch Hu given to Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu asked HaKadosh Baruch Hu, במה ירום מזלם של ישראל? That means, when is the best time that it's good for business? It's good for studying. It's good to go to see a doctor. Everything. That means the star luck, the peak of the Jewish star luck. Which month is it? Say HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Kitisa. When you uplift. What does it mean when you uplift? Hazal explained. You know when is it? When you read Parashat Kitisa. That means in Parashat Kitisa, when you read the Parashat Kitisa, that's when the star luck of the Jewish people on a peak. So Hazal, what's the connection? I'll explain. He said Parashat Kitisa always fall on Adar. And Hazal tell us in a Gemara in Masechet Ta'anit, Kaftet Amud Bet, 29 folio 2. Hazal say that when is the best time for a Jewish person, okay, to do negotiation? When is the best time if there is problematic thing between people to solve it up between a Gentile and a Jewish person, that you have to go to a civil court? Say Hazal be'Adar. When the months of Adar fall, that it's the best time. Why? Say Hazal like this. Adar, we know that who died in Adar? Moshe Rabbeinu, Zayin be'Adar. They said the Mefarshim something extraordinary. Said the Mefarshim that Haman HaRasha, what was his mistake? He said that Moshe Rabbeinu died when? On Adar, on the month of Adar. That means the prophet, the person that redeemed the Jewish people, the king of the Jewish people, the greatest prophet of the Jewish people that redeemed them, died on a month of Adar. That's the worst month for them. And that's when he pulled the lottery, the pool against them. He said that was his mistake. But he didn't know that Moshe Rabbeinu also born in Adar. Moshe Rabbeinu born in Zayin be'Adar and died in Zayin be'Adar. And that was his mistake. To teach us something very important. Kitisa, said Hazal in the Gemara, remember Masechet Baba Batra 10 folio 2. That's the best time for the Jewish people. So Be'ezrat Hashem, that we should see miracle Be'ezrat Hashem. Let's move on. We spoke enough. There's plenty to speak about Kitisa and Shabbat. I'm going to bring different Hidushim about the word Kitisa, Bifkodotam, Be'ezrat Hashem. Bli neder. In verse 13, let's move to verse 13. The Torah tells us something very important. זה ייתנו כל העובר על הפיקודים מחצית השקל בשקל הקודש, 20 גרה השקל, מחצית השקל תרומה לאדוני.
This shall they give. Everyone who passes through the census, a half shekel of the sacred shekel. The shekel is 20 gerah, half a shekel as a portion to Hashem.
Okay, here the Torah tells us that every Jewish person from the age of 20, that's in the next verse, to the age of 60, a male, have to give mahatzit shekel. Why? To take the census of the Jewish people. That's on a pshat of the dvarim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu command Moshe Rabbeinu to tell the children of Israel to bring mahatzit shekel. Okay? Rashi HaKadosh says something extraordinary. What does mean mahatzit shekel? Rashi HaKadosh says something extraordinary. הקדוש ברוך הוא show משה רבנו מטבע של אש, a coin of fire. And here the Mefarshim have a lot of difficulty. Rashi, what are you telling us, a coin of fire? What does it mean, a coin of fire? One of the interpretation that Moshe Rabbeinu, when he saw that coin that HaKadosh Baruch Hu told them, Moshe Rabbeinu have a difficulty. We explained that he had three things that he was difficulty. One of the difficulty that Moshe Rabbeinu had, what is it? What is it? A coin of fire. Say, well, you know, what does it mean? Say the Mefarshim. I'll explain. What Rashi tried to tell you is when HaKadosh Baruch Hu showed Moshe Rabbeinu a coin of fire, he said, how can it be that the coin can change a decree like a fire and do atonement to the Jewish people? A person will give a tzedakah and that will change his decree. 360 degrees. He said that was difficult for Moshe Rabbeinu. How can it be that a person will take a coin, he done averot, by that he gives tzedakah, that will change his decree. 360 degrees change. That's the difficulty of Moshe. Come the Noam Elimelech. The Noam Elimelech was Rabbi Elimelech Milizank. Rabbi Elimelech Milizank, born in a city of Tiktin. Tiktin is a city in Poland. Okay, he born around 307 years ago, plus minus. And he said about the word matbea shel kesef. He said, you know, what is it, matbea shel kesef? A coin of fire? I'll explain. He said that what Rashi tried to teach us is something extraordinary. You know what was the difficulty that there is behind it? I'll explain. He said that a person that gives money is give tzedakah. That's how we explain. And that's doing atonement. But he explained it differently. He said that money, in one way it's good, but from the other way it's very dangerous, said the Noam Elimelech. He said when a person is rich, he had the ability to think, or the idea to think, that he made the money. He worked hard enough, he made that business, he built it, and he done everything. And that can lead them to arrogancy and proud, and depends how you use the money. How do you channel the money? How do you use it in an appropriate way to do tzedakah and chesed? Or you take that money that HaKadosh Baruch Hu given you, and you only a channel to pass it on, but you use it the wrong way. You use it for gambling, lo alenu. You use it for immorality, and etc. Hazal say that you know what it means, a coin of fire. He said like this: the money can be good, but from the other way, it can be like a fire to a person. And fire, people can get warm from it. Fire, people can cook with that. Fire, people can bake with that. So it's good. In the winter, when it's cold, you warm up your house. You light the fire. You have a nice fire. It's beautiful. He said, but from the other way, the fire is dangerous. If you lose your senses and you come too close to it, you can get burned from it. Said the Chachmei Musar. Say Rabbi Elimelech Milizank, people with fire can go up to heaven, but from the other way, they can go down the step ladder. Right down. Why? Say the Chachmei Musar and say Rabbi Elimelech Milizank, it depends how you're using the money. Money can be good, fire can be good. Money can be dangerous, fire can be dangerous. If fire been left unattended, it can cause fire. Why? Because if a wind comes, has b'shalom, can cause a big disaster. Say the Mefarshim, that's what it say Rashi HaKadosh tried to tell us. הראה לו כמין מטבע של אש. He showed him like a coin of fire. That means HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Moshe Rabbeinu, said the Mefarshim, money can be good, but has b'shalom, money can be like fire. Depends how you use it. The same like the fire is good, but fire is dangerous. The same with the money. It depends how you channel it and how you work sensibly with your money. And that's what Rashi tried to tell us, that Moshe Rabbeinu have a difficulty. He saw from one way money, a coin, but the same coin is from fire. So what's happening? Is it a coin or is it a fire? So one interpretation, we say that it's doing atonement. When a person gives it tzedakah, that's doing atonement, has v'shalom, if he done other. But from the other way, a person can get his olam haba easily with money. But has v'shalom, he can lose it as easily. The same like fire, if it's been left unattended, can cause harm. Lo alem. And that's what it means. Ze yitnu mahatzit shekel b'shekel hakodesh. Okay, let's go to verse 15. And here the Torah tells us something very interesting, and we have to understand what the Torah tells us. Ha'ashir lo yarbe, ve'hadal lo yamait, ממחצית השקל, לתת את תרומת אדוני לכפר על נפשותיכם.
The verse,
15, Jeffrey,
yes,
verse 15.
Yes, I got it. The wealthy shall not increase, and the destitute shall not decrease from half a shekel, to give the portion of Hashem to atone for your souls.
Okay, on the pshat of the dvarim, the Torah tells us that if you're a rich person, don't give more than mahatzit shekel. You have to give only mahatzit shekel. But has b'shalom, if a person poor, shouldn't give less. That's on the pshat of the dvarim. What's hiding behind it? I saw another interpretation of the Noam Elimelech, Rabbi Elimelech Milizank. Rabbi Elimelech Milizank said like this. He actually channeled the interpretation differently to that. He actually interpreted the verse like this. And he said that the Torah here come to teach you Musa. That if you study Torah and you Talmid Chacham and you have a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom in the Torah, don't brag about it. Okay? You like a rich man. Don't brag about it and say, listen, I'm Talmid Chacham, I'm a clever man, I know and I know and I know. No, don't say that. Why? Because you have the obligation to study Torah. Okay? And whatever you reach, it's not a half from what you should study. Okay? But from the other way, the Torah come and tell us that those people that they are disadvantaged, that they're not so smart. You know, these people didn't been exposed to Torah, doesn't know how to study Torah, or doesn't have the ability to start to study Torah, or doesn't have a place to go to study Torah in the place. There's many towns that didn't have Talmidei Chachamim to teach Torah. Say the Noam Elimelech something like this. He say you have to understand that the Torah here come to teach you something. Those that have the ability and they're smart, don't brag about it. But those that they are disadvantaged, when it's come to Torah, to studying, they say like this. It say, don't lose hope. Why? Because a person always can do tshuva. A person always can do good deeds. HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't count how many Mishnah you know of Bahar. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to know how much effort you put. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to know how hard you work to understand one sentence in the Torah. That's that Mr. X is very smart, and he can do in an hour 100 verses and understand them, and you can do only one verse and understand. HaKadosh Baruch Hu not going to judge you that you done one and he done 10. HaKadosh Baruch Hu going to judge you according to your effort. So those that doesn't have those mental photographic memory, let's call it, or those ability to have the smartness to study Torah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu not going to judge you why you didn't done 10 sentences like Mr. X. He will judge you why you didn't done your effort, whatever it is. If it's one sentence, a half a sentence, HaKadosh Baruch Hu tell you, "Ve'ani lo yam'it." Don't stop yourself. Whatever you can do, as long that you've done your maximum. Say the Noam Elimelech, HaKadosh wants you to understand that even if it's difficult for you, and you're not as smart, you don't have a very high IQ, how much effort you put to understand the verse. That means that here say the Noam Elimelech, that those that pour in Torah shouldn't lose hope. HaKadosh Baruch Hu don't expect from you, or doesn't expect from me, or from everyone, to be like Moshe Rabbeinu. He wants us to be Moshe Rabbeinu, but he can't judge us on the same level. Chazal say, let me tell you a secret, that Moshe Rabbeinu, when he gone to heaven, he could not understand the quantity, the amount of the Torah that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to give him. It was too much to absorb. HaKadosh Baruch Hu needed to do a miracle with him. Because it's not normal that a human being can understand all the Torah. Chazal tell us, it's not Chazal, it's a famous story that's been told, that when Ari Kadosh took his main student, the Maharho, Rabbi Chaim Vital, and he wanted to teach him the Chokhmat HaSod, the mystical Torah, the Torah Kabbalah. He taught him all Torah Kabbalah in 18 months, in 1.5 years. But at the beginning, the Maharho, Rabbi Chaim Vital, could not understand what Rabbeinu Ari Kadosh tried to teach him. Why? Because he couldn't absorb all of those amount of knowledge that Ari Kadosh given him. Ari Kadosh that saw it took him, because they used to live in Tzfat. They gone down to Tiberias. Tzfat is on the top, Tiberias on the bottom. They gone down to the Tiberias. They gone to the Kinneret. And it was Motzei Shabbos. They put him on a boat, and he took him to a place where the well of Miriam passing. Chazal explained that on Motzei Shabbos, you should drink water from the tap, not water from the bottle, from the tap. Why? Obviously, if the water is purified and it's healthy enough to drink, because בעירה של מרים עוברת בכל הנהרות בעולם. Say Chazal that Ari HaKadosh saw that Rabbeinu Chaim Vital couldn't absorb everything. So he took him to the Kinneret, and he took a glass where the well of Miriam going, and he let him drink from that water. Be'era shel Miriam, it's the well that was with the children of Israel for 40 years in the wilderness. And when he starts, after he drank that, he started to understand the depths and what Ari HaKadosh tried to tell him. That means, say that the Maharho, after he drank from the well of Miriam, suddenly he can understand everything. The same with Moshe Rabbeinu. At the beginning, Moshe Rabbeinu had a difficulty to absorb so much. HaKadosh Baruch Hu then done a miracle, and then Moshe Rabbeinu started to understand. That's what it's come to tell you. That if you're a rich man, don't brag about it. Rich man in what? That you know Torah, that you're a great scholar, you're a great Talmid Chacham. But from the other way, those that they're not great Talmid Chacham, those that are normal person, they go to work, like us, going to work in the morning. Don't lose hope. Always, you have to remember that if you do tshuva and ma'asim tovim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will change everything. That's mean, and that's what it means. Ve'ashir lo yarbe, ve'hadal lo yamait. That's how the Noam Elimelech explained. What's the time? Okay, well, let's move on to verse 34. I'm skipping quite a bit because I didn't realize the time. And in verse 34, here we speak about the spices that we mentioned on Sunday when we spoke about the show. I would like to speak again briefly about it before we continue. And it said that, Vayomer Adonai el Moshe, Kach lecha samim, natav, ushhelet, v'helbena, samim, ulvona, zaka, bad bebad, yeh.
Hashem said to Moshe, take for yourself spices, stacked onycha and galbanum, spices and pure frankincense. There shall be, there shall all be, these shall all be of equal weight.
Okay. What does it mean? Kach lecha. Chazal in the Midrash Tanhuma on our Parsha in verse 15, Chazal tell us something extraordinary. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Moshe Rabbeinu, from all the sacrifice that Bnei Israel are going to bring to me, I love all of those sacrifices, but there's one sacrifice that's more favored than all the sacrifice. Which sacrifice is that? Se Chazal, Korban HaKetoret, the spices. HaKadosh Baruch Hu preferred the spices from all of them. Why? Because the Korban of the Ketoret is the spices, that's Korban Simcha. It's a Korban of joy, of happiness. Not only that, what do we see that happened with the spices? That Aaron HaKohen, when he saw the plague that happened to the Jewish people after they celebrate, not that they make, after the Jewish people celebrate with the Erev Rav that made the golden calf, people start dying. It was a plague. Immediately, how did it stop? By that Aaron HaKohen make the sacrifice of the spices. Said the Zohar HaKadosh in Sefer Shemot in page Resh Yud Het, 218. He said like this. Resh Yud Het, ken. Resh Yud Het, ken. He said like this. He said today that we don't have this, we can't sacrifice the spices. We don't have this korban. We can't sacrifice it. We're not allowed to do that because we don't have Bet HaMikdash. So what should we do? We know that Chazal in Gemara Masechet Shabbat tell us that the evil inclination given present to Moshe Rabbeinu. What is it? The secret of the spices, the secret of that korban. He revealed them that if there is a plague amongst the Jewish people, do the spices, the korban of the spices. The Zohar HaKadosh say in Resh Yud Het, Sefer Shemot, what's going to happen today that we don't have Bet HaMikdash? So what can we do? Say the Zohar HaKadosh, listen what he said. Today that we don't have Bet HaMikdash, when we say the spices that we read in the morning, because the korban of the spices you've done once in the morning, in one Ben Arbaim, before sunset, in Minchatan. He said, if you say it, if you read it, okay, in the morning, and you read it at night, it's equivalent like you sacrifice, like you brought. He said, we learn it from Hazal, say, Uneshalma parim sefaten. Neshalma parim, we gonna pay for the sacrifice. How? Sefaten. By that we read it, it's considered like you sacrifice. So if we want to give HaKadosh Baruch Hu joy and pleasure because he loved that korban more, we should say the korban. What it means korban? That means the spices. We read the spices because we can't do it. We read the spices, the korbanot, once in the morning, once at night. Which korbanot we read? Especially pitum akitor. Pitum akitor. Remember. And that's what's changed the creed. Like Aaron done to the Jewish people when it was the plague that been killed 3,000, and he stopped the plague. How do you stop plague coming on you? By saying the Ketorah. They're changing everything 360 degrees. Let's go to chapter 31, verse 4. Wow, time is flying, time is flying. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, let's go to verse 4. And here we see something very interesting that the Torah tells us about Bezalel ben Uri. Let's read it and Be'ezrat Hashem will explain. Here the Torah tells us, לחשוב מחשבות ולעשות בזהב ובכסף ובנחושת. בכבוד, ג'פרי.
Right, to weave designs, to work with gold, silver and copper.
All the pshat of the dvarim, the Torah tells us that Bezalel ben Uri knew what to do with the gold that he received when they brought the donation to build the tabernacle, the Bet HaMikdash, the portable Bet HaMikdash, what to do with the gold, what to do with the silver, what to do with the copper. Ask the Mefarshim, wait 1 second, what is the Hidush? What is the Hidush? What are you trying to tell me? What did Bezalel ben Uri knew what to do with the gold, with the silver, and with the copper? Obviously he knew, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Moshe, Moshe told them what to do, which vessel to do from gold, which vessel to do from silver, which vessel you must do from copper. So what's the Hidush here that the Torah tells us? If the Torah wrote it, said the Mefarshim, have to be something. So I saw a commentary that called Sichot Tzadikim, the talk of the Tzadikim. That's the name of the book. It's a book that speaks about Parashat HaShavua. It speaks about all Parshiot HaShavua. It's commentary on Parashat HaShavua. It's also commentary about the Jewish festival. And when it's come to this verse, I'm not sure who wrote it. I must be honest. I'm not sure because I don't. I have a suspicious who wrote it. I mean, I have an idea who wrote it, but I'm not sure. So I don't want to say. Anyway, there he says something very extraordinary. And he explained that verse. And he said like this. He said what the Torah tells us that לחשוב מחשבות, לעשות בכסף ובזהב, that means the Torah tells us when people brought the gold, when people brought the silver, they put it all together. It was, let's say, a gold watch. Not that they have, I'm just giving an example. They have a gold ring, a gold change. I'm just saying, okay? And the same with the silver. When Bezalel ben Uri look in each one of those metal, he couldn't tell. You have to melt them, and with that you have to make the vessel. So Hazal HaKadosh Baruch Hu given him a special wisdom. A special wisdom, a special Ruach HaKodesh. By that he look at that gold ring that Mr. X given, and he look at the gold ring that Mr. Y given, he knew what to do with the gold ring of Mr. X and what to do with the gold ring of Mr. Y. And the same with a silver ring and with of Mr. X and Mr. Y. And the same with the copper. What does it mean? Say in Sichot Tzadikim, in the book of Tzadikim, the talk of the Tzadikim, he said that here, HaKadosh Baruch Hu given him a special wisdom, a special Holy Spirit, that when he looked at that gold ring, he knew how is it been given. What was the motive behind it? Is it being given for the sake of heaven? Then, immediately Bezalel put it aside, and he took that gold that been given, all of those gold that been given, for the highest level, for the sake of heaven, put it on the side. If it's been given for a personal reason, for a personal motive, like a person wanted to give yiches, he said, look, I'm giving my big gold change to the nation. It means that it was a bit of motive behind it, to show off. Okay, look, I'm giving, I'm rich, I'm giving a lot of money. You wanted yiches. Immediately, Bezalel ben Uri knew what to do with that, put it aside. Each one, according to the level of the truma that been given, Bezalel sought him up. After he sought him up, he took that gold, that silver, that copper, and with that, he make the vessel according to the holiness. If it's done, the teruma, the tzedakah that been given only for the sake of heaven, I'm doing it because HaKadosh Baruch Hu say, I'm doing it to make HaKadosh Baruch Hu happy. He took that gold, or that silver, or that copper, it doesn't make a difference. And with that, he put it in the most holy part of the Mishkan. But if it's done for personal motive, that people will say, look, he's rich, look how much he's giving, or that person done it not because he really want to give, because everyone gives, so he given just not to say that I'm stingy. Depends on the level of Kedusha, on the level of holiness, on the level of purity of that mitzvah, to tell us how to do it. And that's what the Torah tells us. That's mean, say in Sichot Tzadikim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu given special Holy Spirit to Bezalel, how to make the vessel as much that it's most holy from the most holy damnation. And according to the level of the nation, that's what he needs. And that's what the Torah tells us. לחשוב מחשבות לעשות בזהב, בכסף ובנחושת, that you must understand that all what the Torah tells us is not just to do the vessel. It's not how to do the vessel. It's to take the most pure damnation to the most holy vessel in a tabernacle. And that's what it means, said the Sichot Tzadikim. Let's go to verse 13. And in verse 13, it says something very interesting. The Torah speaks about the Shabbat. And look what it says. The Torah tells us like this. ואתה תדבר אל בני ישראל לאמור, אך את שבתותיי תשמור, כי אותי ביני וביניכם לדורותיכם, לדעת, כי אני אדוני מקדשכם.
Now you, talking to Moshe, speak to the children of Israel, saying, however, you must observe my Sabbaths, for it is a sign between me and you, all your generations, to know that I am Hashem, who makes you holy.
Okay. What it means, ach, et shabtotai tishmor. Kadosh Baruch Hu can say, et shabtotai tishmor. He add up the word ach. Say Rabbi Yaakov Baal HaTurim. Rabbi Yaakov Baal HaTurim, born in the city of Kellen in Germany, 755 years ago, plus minus. In his commentary, he said the word ach come to show us, it sounds, accept. What does it mean, accept? that when it's come to keep the Shabbat, except it's come to tell you something very important. It said there is certain situation that you have to understand that if that situation happened, you don't have to keep Shabbos. You have to break the Shabbos for it. For example, pikuach nefesh. If has v'shalom, there is a pikuach nefesh. Everyone understand the word pikuach nefesh? I'll explain. Pikuach nefesh, that there is a danger. What does it mean that there is a danger? That has v'shalom, a person is in a situation that his health is not good, or a woman needs to deliver a baby. You have to break Shabbat. You have to drive on Shabbat to the hospital. It's a mitzvah. The doctor have to drive to a sick person. A person need to go to the hospital, lo alenu. Have to go. So it's come to tell you there's certain situation on Shabbat that can cause to break Shabbat. And you don't have to worry about it because the Torah understand. One of them is pikuach nefesh. Come the Ari HaKadosh. Ari HaKadosh is Rabbi Yitzhak Luri Ashkenazi. He born 490 years ago in Jerusalem. And he explained like this. It said that in the verse, Achet Shabtotai Tishmoru, you should keep the Sabbath, because it's a covenant between me and to you for generation. Okay? And I'm the Almighty sanctifies you. He said many people think that on Shabbat there is a mitzvah not to do melacha. Melacha, in English it sounds the same. Melacha and avodah, work, and melacha it's the same in English. But in Hebrew it's a great difference between avodah and melacha. Avodah is work in English. Melacha is also work in English. Said the Mefarshim something extraordinary. Said the Mefarshim that many people think that on Shabbat they just shouldn't work, they should sit and rest and eat, like the Torah tells us, because it's a day of rest. It's a nachon that it's a day of rest. Nachon that we have a special mitzvah to eat on Shabbat, special food. Nachon. But there's higher thing than that. He says Shabbos been given to the Jewish people that to stop from the 6th day of the working day, to understand that there is one holy day. That in that holy day that I told you, not to create things, it's not only a day of rest. Yes, you have to rest. But you also should take that day and elevate it. You should go to She'ur Torah on Shabbat. A person should study Torah on Shabbat. Not just to wake up in the morning, to go to shul, to daven, that's all beautiful. And then to have a schnapps with friends, you know, kiddush, that's all beautiful. And then to go home and to have a beautiful, that's beautiful. Yes, nachon, it's a mitzvah. But there's something more than that. That you should uplift yourself spiritually on Shabbat. How do you do that? How do you do that? By learning Torah on Shabbat. To go to She'ur Torah on Shabbat. And the Ben Ish Hai, Rabbi Yosef Haim, that born in Iraq, in the city of Baghdad 190 years ago, explained like this. He said that 1 hour of Shabbat, when you study Torah, it's like 1,000 hours during the week. That means when you study on Shabbat Torah, that's equivalent to 1,000 hours during the week. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that's what the Torah comes to tell us. Ach, et Shabdotai tishmoru. It's not enough just to keep Shabbat. You also have to uplift yourself spiritually on Shabbat. Let's go to verse 32. And there we're going to read chapter 32, verses 26 and 28. And we'll see a difference in those verses. Chapter 32, Jeffrey, verse 26 and 28.
Yeah,
Let's see what it says here.
Yamud.
Okay, look what it says in verse 26. ויעמוד משה בשער המחנה, ויאמר, מי להשם אליי? ויאספו אליו כל בני לוי. In verse 28, ויעשו בני לוי כדבר משה, ויפול מן העם ביום ההוא כ3,000 איש.
Moshe stood at the gateway of the camp and said, whoever is for Hashem, join me. And all the Levites gathered around him. The Levites did as Moshe said, and about 3,000 men of the people fell that day.
What's happening here? In the Pshat of the Dvarim, the Torah tells us about Het HaEgel. What happened? When the Het HaEgel happened, the Torah tells us that Moshe Rabbeinu stood on a gate, okay? When he saw everything, what's happening, he stood on a gate. Immediately he said, Mila Hashem Elai, who's for the Almighty? All the tribe of Levy came to him. But when it came later on to kill, what does it say there? Okay, Vayasu bnei Levi. And some of the children of Israel, the children of Levi done. When it's called Mila Hashem Elai, when Moshe Rabbeinu called, who's to the Almighty must come to me, all the tribe of Levi came. But when it came to kill those that created the golden calf, Vayasu bnei Levi, and they done. That means not all of them. It doesn't say call. Ask Rabbi Chaim Ben Atar, the Or HaChaim HaKadosh. He born in the city of Sali in Morocco. He born 328 years ago, plus minus. He asked the question, why one time he said all the children of Levi, all the children of the tribe of Levi, and verse 28, Vayasu bnei Levi, and the tribe of Levi done. What's the Hidush here? Why one time all and one time the son? He said that when it's come together for the sake of the Almighty, all the children of Levi came to Moshe to teach you that the children of the tribe of Levi, none of them still with a golden calf. But when it's come to kill the Erev Rav that created the golden calf, not all the Leviim can kill. Not all the Leviim have the ability to take the sword and to kill. And this is the Hidush. That sometimes you have to understand, Nachon, that the tribe of Levi is a very jealous to Hashem, but it's come to teach you something very important. The Leviim also, these those that have to serve differently. That in life there is different people. Everyone according to his neshama. But when it's come to keep the mitzvot, to keep the Torah, all the tribe of Levi, that was their job, that they never sinned. They was all the time holy and pure. I would like to do the common thing that we do, the Zera Shimshon. Let's go to chapter 34, verse 1. Wow, it's after... Sorry, I'm going to steal a few minutes because it's a custom to do Zera Shimshon that we took in ourselves, bli neder, to do. And it said like this, ויאמר אדוני אל משה, פסל לך 2 לוחות אבנים כראשונים, וחטפתי על הלוחות הראשונים, אשר היו על הלוחות הראשונים, אשר שיברת.
Hashem said to Moshe, carve for yourself 2 stone tablets like the first ones. And I shall inscribe on the tablets the words that were on the first tablets, which you shattered.
Okay. On the Pshat of the Dvarim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Moshe Rabbeinu, make 2nd tablets. But what does it say, pasel lecha? Pasel lecha? That means engrave for you, take a stone. What is that stone? Chazal explained that HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Moshe Rabbeinu something very extraordinary. Look underneath your what do you call it, your carpet in your tent, lift it up. And he lifted it up, and he find underneath the carpet a big stone, a diamond stone that's called Even Sanperinon. The Even Sanperinon, Rashi HaKadosh bring Midrash Tanhuma in verse 29. There it said that from that, Moshe Rabbeinu become rich. Okay. Come the Zera Shimshon, Rabbi Shimshon Haim Nachmani. Rabbi Shimshon Haim Nachmani, born in the city of Modena 318 years ago. And he said, wait a minute, wait, I don't understand. Moshe Rabbeinu need to become rich, dafka, from the offcut, when he engraved that special stone that he's going to make the second tablet. Why dafka from that? Hazal in the Gemara, Rabotai, we have to understand, Masechet Nedarim, tell us that Moshe Rabbeinu, until that moment, was a poor person. He didn't have any money. Masechet Nedarim, Lamet Het Amud Aleph, that means 38, folio 1. Moshe Rabbeinu, until that he engraved the second tablets, until he made the second tablet, and when he engraved it, all the offcut that come from that special stone, okay, that's what make them rich. Ask the Zera Shimshon, I don't understand. Why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu need to make Moshe Rabbeinu rich? Dafka from the offcut of the second tablet. I don't understand. What's the Hidushim? So, when Moshe Rabbeinu broke the first tablet in Avot Rabbi Natan, it says that the 70 elderly saw that Moshe Rabbeinu preparing to drop the tablets. Immediately they ran towards them and they tried to stop him from breaking. But when Moshe Rabbeinu broke the tablets, he managed to overcome the 70 elderly. Hazal says something happened. Hazal in the Gemara in Masechet Sanhedrin say, Masechet Eruvin, sorry. What am I saying, Masechet Sanhedrin? In Masechet Eruvin, in page Nun Daled Amud Aleph 54, folio 1, Hazal says something extraordinary. Hazal say that breakage of the first tablet caused the Jewish people to forgive all their studying Torah. So that means, so to say, that the Jewish people have something to complain about Moshe Rabbeinu. That means that caused, that breakage caused the Jewish people, giving them a consent to complain against Moshe Rabbeinu. Because until now, if we study Torah, we can remember. But after you broke the Torah, we can't just study Torah and remember. That means a person study Torah, have to continue and study Torah, continue and studying Torah. Before, they didn't have. So to say, the Jewish people have a concern, a complaint against Moshe Rabbeinu. Kama Kadosh Baruch Hu, and say, Asher Shibarta. Hazal in the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat, page Zayin Amud Aleph, 87, folio 1. Hazal says something extraordinary. Hazal say, there, אמר הקדוש ברוך הוא למשה רבנו, יישר כוח ששיברת את הלוחות. יישר כוח that you break the לוחות. Said the Zera Shimshon, I'll tell you why did הקדוש ברוך הוא made Moshe Rabbeinu reach dafka from the offcut of the second temple. מידה כנגד מידה. Moshe Rabbeinu broke the לוחות. The Jewish people ever complain about him. Come, הקדוש ברוך הוא say, no. You can't complain about it. I agree with him that he broke the luchot. And for that, Adan Mida Keneged Mida. He broke the first one, I agree with him. I'll make them rich from the offcut of the stone of the Even Sanperinon, the special diamond, that he's going to take it to himself and he become rich. To show that I agree with him. Although that you have a consent against him. Although that you have a complaint that you forgot all your studying, that you can't remember. Said the Zera Shimshon, Mida Keneged Mida. Be'ezrat Hashem on Shabbat, I will explain why HaKadosh Baruch Hu agree with Moshe, okay? And what is all of this idea of forgetting the studying of the Torah? But in the meantime, that Be'ezrat Hashem, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will open our heart, will open our mind to understand the Holy Torah. Okay, to understand what we're learning, not only to learn, also to teach. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu will have mercy and compassion on us and send us Mashiach Tzidkenu speedily in our day, and will show us the miracle that He showed the Jewish people in Persia, the same like He done to them. He will show us those great miracles, Be'ezrat Hashem, and we'll see speedily in our day the building of the third Bet HaMikdash and coming of Mashiach Tzidkenu Bimera b'yamenu, amen, ken yehi ratzon. Sorry that I took a bit 10 minutes over the time, Rabotai, but now it's time for question. Bechavod. Any question? Bechavod. Unmute the microphone and you can ask.
Right.
Bechavod, no? Ken, Frank, bechavod.
Yeah. Look, it's just questions that I want to ask you. Okay. The first thing is, you remember when you said about the counting of their heads, or the people, where if you want to know when there's a minyan or not?
Yes.
Can you say, all right, can you say not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4? Is that wrong?
But you're still counting, not 1.
Yes. Oh, so that's wrong.
Number 1. You still mention the number 1. I don't understand those people that say not 1, not 2, not 3.
Yeah. All right.
But you counted them.
Yes,
that you say no, it doesn't mean anything. What's the hidush here? I mean, but when you say Ashrei, Yoshve Betecha, or Yalelucha Sela, Ashrei Ha'am Shekacha Lo. You know, you don't count them. You say the word.
Yes. Now, the next question I want to ask is, you know, when you say we have to, when we do the Ketoras, you know.
The Ketoras, yes, in the morning and in the
morning.
Evening,
now, I know the Swadi do the whole thing every day. They say the whole lot.
We say it actually 3 times a day. 3 times a day.
But
the first in the morning before the davening, in the korbanot, and then just before we finish, just before Alenu. Yeah.
But we in the Ashkenazi don't say the whole lot. We just say the first chapter, and then we leave the rest out. Now, can you say that, get up early in the morning and say it before you go davening?
You must.
So you could. I'm just saying, because you haven't got time in the when they daven. So you can do that. Okay. And the third question I want to ask.
Daven with me in a minyan. Frank, I just want to teach you. You daven with me in a minyan in the morning. If you look, when I come to the minyan, okay, I need to organize who's going to daven, what's going to happen.
Yes.
If you look, when they start the brachot, okay, I just put my tefillin. But if you look here, immediately after you finish the brachot, I'm already starting, okay? Baruch She'amar.
So you do that all beforehand.
That for half an hour before at home, I prepare myself, and I start from Baruch She'amar to catch up.
Well, I also do the same as you, because otherwise I could never catch up. The third thing I want to ask, the third question I want to ask you is this. Remember you said, and I heard this and I don't know if it's true. Remember when you said about Shabbos, and you said, it means to say if there's a sick person or anything, you can break the Shabbos.
It's halacha.
But I heard, and I don't know if it's right, that Hashem said that to them because He didn't want them to work on Shabbos so they can quickly finish the Mishkan, because they may be too eager and work on Shabbos. Is that correct as well?
Yeah, no, that we learned the 39 melachot, that we have from the Mishkan. Because one of the things that they didn't done in the Mishkan, they didn't build it on Shabbat.
Yes.
To teach you the importance of Shabbat. But it's tell you that there is certain situation that you can break Shabbat. What it means is accept.
Except, yes.
Except. אך את שבתותיי תשמעו. You must keep my Shabbat, but except certain situation that you have to break Shabbat. A woman that needs to deliver her baby. What you going to do? You're not going to phone the Hatzalah to take her. You're not going to drive her to the hospital. A person sick, you need to see a doctor.
Yes.
You're not going to break Shabbat.
No, you have to.
So the ach mean there is certain situations that when it comes to pikuach nefesh, you can break Shabbat.
Okay. Thanks, Rabbi. Thank you very much.
Okay. Bechavod. Who else want to ask question?
Rob, can I ask a question, please?
Sure, you must.
Okay. You mentioned in your Mistrosha that the korban of Ketoret is a korban of happiness.
A joy in happiness to HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
So therefore, and when we say in the morning, Vaydaber, when we
וידבר השם אל משה לאמור, קח לך צלמים, קטורת, ולבונה, שחלת ולבונה, זכה בת בבדיה.
We are, which is replacing the korban, we are doing something that pleases Hashem. This is, of all the service, this is what pleases Hashem, the Ketoris, that when we say that.
From all the korbanot, not from all the davening. No.
From the korbanot.
It pleases Hashem from all the korbanot. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, there is certain korbanot, korban todah.
Yeah.
The Thanksgiving korban.
Yes.
Korban olah, korban hatat. Okay?
Yes.
Then you have korban mincha. Then you have korban that called the spices.
Yes.
The ketor. From all of the korbanot that there is, HaKadosh Baruch Hu loved that korban. That's his favorite.
Because in that verse, and from that verse, it mentions Reach Nachoach Hashem.
What it means, Reach Nichoach LaHashem? What it means, Reach Nichoach LaHashem? Remember what we spoke on Sunday?
Yeah.
Reach is smell. Nichoach, that's the uplifting. Uplifting, okay? Smell, okay? What it means smell? We explained on Sunday that it means that it's uplift HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Reach Nichoach LaHashem.
Yeah.
That's what lifts HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Give him joy, it's giving him happy.
So just as
that fragrance, smell of the korbanot, but today we don't do any smell, any smell. We don't do. By that you pronounce them, you saying them, it's like making the fragrance. And you're giving pleasure to HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
And at the same time, yes, and at the same time, does it avert plague? Just like when Aaron...
Exactly. Hazal, the Zohar HaKadosh said that ilu hayu yod'im bnei adam ma'alata shel amirat haketoret, hayu osim mikol ot keter lerosham. I will explain. The Zohar said, if the Jewish people knew the value, the virtue of the ketoret, they used to take every word from the korban of the ketoret, the korban of the ketoret, and used to make a crown to their head. How much it's protected, how much it's helped them to overcome difficulty that there is, how much it's destroyed the other side, all the negativity that there is in the world, all the evil spirit that there is in the world. That when you say that, When you say that, immediately he disappears. He doesn't want to come near you. He's so afraid. You know who I'm referring to Yetzer Hara.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So said the Zohar HaKadosh that if we understand the virtue of the Ketoret, when we read it, if you read it slowly, word by word, if you say it at home, because you know at shul, you're not going to manage to catch up. Rather say it at shul, like Frank said. Say it word by word, you'll see miracle. The Zohar promise, I've done a show about, maybe I should do it, maybe this Sunday, because I wanted to start a series about Purim, to go through the Megillah. Maybe I'll do it after that. Hazal explained that when you read the Ketoret, you see the virtue of the Ketoret, what it can do, how it can change things. It's unbelievable. The virtue of the Ketoret, all the Mezikin, all the evil spirits, all those that cause to lose money, Has v'shalom, people get injured, get sick. So people say, but I say every day the Ketor. Yeah. Yes, you can say every day the Ketor, but how you say it? He said word by word with full kavana, then you'll see how's it change. Your health, your wealth, everything. It's changed everything. The relationship at home, it changed everything. The relationship at home, the relationship with your friends, with everyone.
So it's so important to say it word for word, because we know what happened when one word was left out. When Nadav and Abihu left out a word and they don't put the whole the whole recipe together, it's completely and have not so good consequences. So therefore, you've got to be very careful when you say it.
Not only that, Jeffrey, you want to send the email to someone. And if the address of the email, you forgot a dot, not a word, a dot.
Not going to get there.
That email will never reach.
Yeah.
It will return back. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
It's the same with the davening. Every word is important. Every letter is important. How do you pronounce it? Beseder?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good. Any other question? Rabotai, anyone want to ask another question? No? In that case, I see that you don't have any question. I just want to remind everyone, again, Shabbos, those of you that can, if you can, I would like to see you at Yeshiva College. An hour before Mincha, we give a shiur in Parashat HaShavua in depth with different Hidushim that we didn't mention tonight. Some of them are mentioned, but then I add up more Hidushim on it. That means we're going right through the Pardes. So to wish all of you, first of all, a beautiful Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom to all of you, a safe Shabbat, a beautiful Shabbat to all of us, and Be'ezrat Hashem, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will have mercy and compassion and kindness on the Jewish people, and will say enough to our Tzoros and send us Mashiach Tzidkenu speedily in our day. Amen. Thank you for joining us tonight. Have a beautiful weekend, everyone. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.